Are we on? Oh, we always do this. Welcome everyone. My name is Eka Kapiotis, and I'm here on behalf of the Front Royal Women's Resource Center. And we're very happy to have some new people joining us tonight for the Woman Gathering, and also have some very wonderful long-time members. So we're hoping some of our new people become long-time members. It's a wonderful organization. We have some great programs that are happening that we'll be discussing at the end of this, at the end of the interview. But I will just say that we do the Dare to Dream grant, so definitely stay in tune or check out our Facebook page or our website at frwrc.org, which stands for the Front Royal Women's Resource Center. So I'm really tickled to have JoAnna Mccue-Martin here tonight. I've come to know JoAnna over the last few years, and I've just been really thrilled to be acquainted with her. She's doing some really exciting things in our community, both on for adults and children. And so let me just read a little bit about her. She has a Master's of Education, a passion for sharing mindfulness, yoga, and movement with children and with adults. She has over 20 years of experience working in a variety of public and private educational settings. And JoAnna has come to love the process of encouraging growth, creativity, and play with people of all ages. You hold a Virginia teaching certification along with certifications for the Nia Technique, Creative Kids Yoga, and you're finishing your 200 RYT this spring. Welcome, JoAnna.
Thank you.
What is 200 RYT?
So that is basically just kind of a beginning certification with yoga, and there's many hours, but it just says that I will have taken over 200 hours of classes in yoga. So it's kind of like the first step.
Oh, okay. So what does RYT stand for? Like registered?
Yes, registered yoga teacher through Yoga Alliance. Sorry. And so basically, there's a lot of different ways that you can get it, and some people will study over maybe 6 months in a certain area, and I've kind of chosen a program that's allowed me to kind of pick and choose and take programs over several months so that I can kind of fit my own family into it as well. So there's different schools and different things you can do with it. So I'm choosing to kind of go through the school that focuses on trauma-informed yoga. So that seemed to kind of becoming my interest. So after the 200 hours, I will be officially the 200-hour yoga teacher, but I feel in many ways that is just the beginning of what I want to do.
I bet. Then you get to learn from there, huh?
Yes.
Through experience.
Yes.
So I know that you've been teaching Nia for a while. Can you say a little bit about what Nia is?
Sure. So Nia is, it's basically mindful movement. It's a mindfulness technique that incorporates a variety of movement methods. So it kind of draws from dance and martial arts and then the healing arts. And from that, it kind of allows you to go into your body and really be a sensation scientist is what they talk about. And so really getting into your body and sensing what your body is feeling and how your body's moving. And then from that, from moving in your body, kind of moving into this state of mindfulness and just delight in movement. So
great.
It's hard to explain.
Well,
you have to do it.
Right, because it is a sensation-based thing, so it is really about moving, not so much a thought process.
Right.
For people that don't really know, can you say a little bit about what mindfulness is about?
So mindfulness is really about paying attention and paying attention to the present moment. So it can come about in a bunch of different ways, and it can be incredibly difficult to do. But when I work with my students, I just say, it's paying attention. And wow, that's hard. And it's hard for adults also. So just really kind of being in the moment and noticing. So within Nia, the mindfulness kind of comes because you're stepping, you're turning, you're sensing your different joints, sensing the music. There's all sorts of aspects that kind of bring you into that moment.
And Nia isn't, it's kind of funny, but I learned about Nia a long time ago, and I thought it was very intriguing, and I've been kind of waiting for some classes. But it's not really, it's not like aerobics or, I mean, it's not a fast-paced thing, right?
No. There's aspects of it that can be if you're athletic and you want to really amp it up and get a really good workout from it. There's totally ways that you can do that. But it actually started because there were aerobics teachers who were teaching, they were seeing injuries. And Carlos Rosas was a tennis player, and Helen was an aerobics teacher, and they were both finding that people were coming to them with different injuries. So they started exploring different ways to kind of help their students. And through that, they kind of explored through the healing arts, and then ended up kind of in Duncan dance and different dance areas, and then focused on yoga and Tai Chi. So it's really drawing from a lot of different schools of thought, but it kind of all comes together and really makes sense in a moving body. And it can be, I mean, it can be for any mobility. So you can do chair Nia, you can really move. The whole idea is to move in your way and in a way that feels good to you. Mm-hmm. So
something that's kind of authentic for each person.
Yeah,
right.
Different for everybody and different depending upon the day you're moving, and just kind of allowing you to be in touch with your body in that way.
Yeah, wonderful. And really yoga is the same thing. It's really about getting in touch with your body, feeling it, move in different directions and that sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean there's many different aspects of it, but for what I'm doing kind of the physical asanas, but the idea is to move from the asanas into the mindfulness. So
okay, hold on. What's an asana?
So a pose that you would do, and there's a lot of structure in it, and a lot of rules and a lot of ways to kind of get into the poses, and it takes years to really know those poses really, really well. But I think from that, they were able to see that there was something happening in the energy systems of the body that were affecting people, and so they kind of incorporated some of that into Nia.
Okay. So they're really very closely connected.
Yeah, it's all interconnected, just like our bodies.
And I know that you're really interested in working with children.
Right.
And so how do you do that? Can you say a little more about that?
Well, I mean, I do it in a variety of ways. I offer play shops in the community that are seasonal. So through the play shops, children come and it's kind of, I call it a play shop because it's work, but it's play. And so workshop just seemed so boring to me, and work should be play, and I think play should be work also. So it's a play shop where children come, and it's usually based upon the seasons or some kind of theme. So depending upon the theme that we choose, we might choose a story that goes with it, sensory trays that might have something seasonal or something of interest that would kind of ignite their imagination. And then yoga poses, yoga games, and then the creative movement sometimes comes in. And then recently I've started doing a lot with breath work and really kind of working towards helping them with their self-regulation and learning how to kind of control their emotions or recognize them, and then learn how to kind of calm themselves down. So that's in the play shops, that's kind of what I'm doing. And that's, again, like 4 to 6 week play shops. So it's not all year, but...
Well, I think that, I've heard in many places that that our culture, we are like chronically not breathing.
Right.
Like so many times if you really start to pay attention, you realize you're holding your breath, you're not really breathing deeply. And so I think to start with kids, I mean, I was old before I found out that I wasn't breathing very much, and to be able to start those patterns early is wonderful.
Yeah, and I think the pace of life is fast, and we're all kind of living in this state of stress all the time, and it trickles down to the kids. And what I'm finding is that by talking about it, it actually gives them language to those feelings that they're having. So it's really kind of an easy thing, because they're like, oh, you mean you're talking about that energy that's like racing through my bloodstream right now? And it's like, yeah, let's talk about that. And so I feel like it just comes naturally to them, and they really kind of latch onto it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have some really creative ways of exploring that with them too, and I hope you don't mind my sharing that you said something about having them put a ball on their belly and then breathe and notice the ball moving.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're just telling them breathe, you're really giving them very creative ways to play with it.
Yeah, and we talk about different ways to breathe and different times to breathe. I have a little sphere that kind of opens and closes, and so we breathe with that, and that's kind of a visual for them, because again, we talk about that breathing and how it's not up and down, and you can see when they come in, sometimes their shoulders are going up and down when they're breathing, but when you talk about and get them to put their hands on the ribs, and the ribs expand when the air comes in and it contracts, and so using that sphere that kind of expands and contracts, that gives them that visual, and they love it, and then they breathe, and we breathe together, and all sorts of things.
It's so powerful.
It
sounds so simple, but it's really powerful. And I know that as a body worker, that if I can get people to just start to breathe, it really does amazing things to the nervous system. It really calms down your nervous system. And just breathing, just by breathing, you can do that. So by teaching that, that's a really valuable thing you're teaching them.
And we talk about how they're really tools in the toolbox, and this is just something that they can use if they're feeling a certain way. So if they're starting to get, I've had mothers come and say to me, they're using this at home. When I'm angry, they're using that and telling me to stop and think and breathe. And, but it's like it trickles up also, and I think it's really just giving them that language, because we're all in our bodies, and it's all, we're all there all the time. We're just not always aware of it. But I think children tend to be in it more, and I think allowing them to have that opportunity to just learn how to regulate and learn how to manage is really powerful.
Great. And you also work with adults. You're doing some yoga classes with adults. Because I came to one.
Yes. So I'm offering a kind of restorative class to adults, and I am a new teacher, so it is basic poses, and I'm learning along with my students. I feel like I love my adult class, because I always leave with questions that I couldn't answer, or that I'm trying to learn to answer, and it's really more of a time for you to come and just rest and do some poses, get some of the stretch out in the poses, and then leave feeling hopefully rejuvenated. So it's not a super intense class. It's not a heavy flow class. If you want to work out, it's probably not the class to come to, but if you've had a really stressful day, it's a good class to come to.
Yeah, so. I know that when I took it, it seemed very easy, which I appreciated. Yeah. And I slept great that night, and I felt full of energy the next day. It was sort of deceptively easy. Yeah. It's like, that was so easy. How did it do all that?
Because it brought your nervous system down.
So you call that restorative yoga. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like you're not going to do pretzel.
No. There's a lot of, just like within yoga, there's a lot of different types, a lot of different schools of yoga, and a lot of different types of yoga. But this is more just very basic. So some poses, in some schools, they might hold the poses for a very long time and really focus on the structure of the pose, which I think is really what I like. But the way I'm being trained right now, I feel like there's always steps, right? So we're always learning something, and we start somewhere, and then from there we move on to something else. So where I am right now, I'm really working on the basic poses, and then the language and inclusive language and ways to make students feel safe so that everybody can come to a yoga class. So really allowing people to feel like, because you've heard that I can't do yoga, or some of the Instagram photos of, these 19-year-olds out on the beach doing some crazy pose, and I think when you start to realize that it's really not about that at all, and that's just something that's great, and I love looking at those poses, but that's not really what it is for everybody. And I think recognizing that, finding that class that is a good fit for you is really important. So in my own way, I'm just trying to make that little corner for someone.
Yeah, and isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
It's really wonderful, because it makes it easy for so many people.
Yeah.
myself included. Yeah. So I know we were talking about doing a little movement.
Sure.
You ready?
Yeah. Are you
All
ready?
right.
Okay.
Yay.
So, I think, all right, put some music on. I think if you can stand, you might want to push your chairs back a little bit. So this is really kind of basic, but what I would like you to think about, let's see. Okay, so what I would like you to think about is just trying to forget that there's a camera in the room. That's what I'm doing. And getting back to that space where you were when you were doing your breathing, and kind of back into the body. So sensing, we're just going to step forward a little bit and step backward a little bit. It's nothing fancy. But allowing yourself to kind of focus on that step. So when you stepping in, and normally Nia is done usually barefoot, so we're kind of breaking all the rules here, but I'm not going to make everybody take their shoes off. But when you step, kind of stepping in like a heel to toe, and then stepping back. So, and it can be, we'll say the right foot first. Imagine that you're in a clock, and that up in front of you is the 12, and you're in the middle, and behind you is the 6, and then to the right is the 3, and to your left is the 9. So we're just going to be stepping in the clock. So we're just going to step back. We have to put some music on. So that's all I'm going to ask you to do. And
I think we can handle that.
yeah, I think hopefully this is loud enough. Okay. So. Yeah. So I figured this would be, it's hard not to move to this. So
We were born before the wind,
right foot, and step back, step in.
also younger than the sun. Yeah, the bonnie boat was one as we sail into the mystic. Heart can now hear the sailors cry, smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic. And when that foghorn blows, I will be coming home. Yeah, when the foghorn blows, I wanna hear it. I don't have to fear it. I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. How magnificently we will fold into the mystic. When that foghorn,
I want to show you one more.
you know I will be coming home.
You just have bodies that just want to keep going.
Yeah, when that
And
foghorn,
so the great thing about it is that it
I
gets the
gotta
energy
hear
moving,
it.
and there's some
I don't have to fear
like there's some basic footwork, and that's it. And then what you know from there, you just can go, and then you can just add your arms in,
Just like way back
you
in
start
the
working on
days
your
of
different
old.
joints, and it's just really free and healing once you get to that
And
point.
together we
Takes a
will
while to get there. And a lot of people, when you realize you're
And
dancing in the middle of a room with a bunch of people you don't know, and they're like, what are we doing?
come on,
But
girl.
again, you're in that movement, so it's getting back to it's getting back into the body. And a lot of times, because we have to think about it, it's actually doing all the work too. So kind of being mindful, and then as you get used to the steps, then you can start
stop.
And they were just really basic things. So, and then just, slowly wait to your questions. Other music. Any music. You can do it at any time. So,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you for being willing to.
I hate to stop. That was fun.
I know, that's why I played all these songs.
Yeah,
So we're having a dance party.
All right. Well, to be continued,
Yes.
right? Okay, great. That was wonderful. Great music, too. So, anybody have any questions or comments? How are you feeling after that?
Felt good in the middle of it all the time. Happy.
Well, we need some more.
Smiles all around. There's definitely smiles all around, yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions?
Where do you teach?
So I'm just kind of beginning, and my yoga class is now going to be offered at 4-H Center. It's on Thursday nights. You can arrive around 6:45, and then class will start at 7. And the buildings up there's so many options up there and so many great outdoor spaces. So for right now, they're kind of moving us around depending upon what else is going on up there, but the spaces are really nice. So while it's cold outside, it is just in this two different rooms and Thursday nights. And there's one Thursday in February that we won't have class, but other than that, we should have it. And then
Do you have a website?
So the website is in progress, but I do have a Facebook page, and it's called Playful Explorations. So if you go to Facebook, you can follow it there. And I actually have a page now for the class, so I'm posting information for the class on that page, so that if for some reason it's canceled, you would know there. And then I hope to be bringing Nia classes out there. There's a huge room there. That would be so great to dance in. So I'm hoping probably by spring to kind of get that going.
So Playful Explorations is a Facebook page,
Yes.
and then they can message you, like if they want to know specifically, that you can receive a message through that page.
Yes, and I'll be posting events also and the different classes there.
Yeah, great. And it sounds like you plan to do some outside.
Oh yeah. I mean,
that's
it's just, I
great.
think it's so beautiful up there, and I feel like there's so many areas that would be great spots for just an evening yoga class or even a Nia. So definitely outside when it's not quite so cold.
Yay. I love that idea.
So how much is that first session?
So for the yoga, the first yoga class is free, so you can come and try it. And then if you decide it's a $10 drop-in fee, and then it's $8 for like a class pack. $8 per class for a pack.
And so if somebody wanted to do that, they would just contact you?
Yes,
through
I'll
that?
be putting up, like through the event, I can put the ticket that you can purchase for it.
Oh, great. Okay. So can you also on the Facebook Live event post underneath that your
Yeah.
page and your
Yep.
contact information?
Sure.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be really great.
And there should be a website coming, so it's actually there, but it's not quite ready for everybody to see. So,
Okay.
and hopefully that will be a place, because I know not everybody's on Facebook, and that kind of limits people. So,
Yeah. Tell your friends, right?
yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Paula, do you have a question?
Oh, that was my question. These ladies read my mind.
Yeah.
So the 6:45 class for now, I mean, I'm hoping to have a morning class also, and that's kind of something that will be growing. I do work in schools also with the classes, so it's a little bit of a jumble, kind of trying to figure out the schedule that's working so that I can do all the things that I'm wanting to do right now. So, but that's the goal, is to have a morning class also.
Right. So is there anything, I think we're going to turn it over to some other people to talk about the Women's Resource Center. Is there anything else that you wanted to add before we?
Thank you.
Is there
so
any
much.
message you'd like for people to have about your work or about yoga or movement?
Well, I just feel really blessed to be able to practice this in this community and bring it to people, especially bring it to people who haven't had it before. It's kind of an exciting idea to me. But No, I just thank you for having me and taking the time to come down and learn a little bit, and I hope to see you dancing sometime soon up at the 4-H Center. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you
Thank
coming down
you.
and talking about it. It's wonderful. And I'm so appreciative, too, of you doing it for the community. It's just, and especially for children. You know, we as adults, we have choices, but when you are able to lay a foundation for children, that lasts a lifetime for them. They are not going to forget that, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'd like to turn it over to Barbara Way, Executive Director of the Women's Resource Center. Huh?
And I will just say, since we have new people here, I don't spend a lot of time on what the Resource Center does, but since we do have new people, you'll see here that our subtitle is Empowering Women to Change Their World. Emphasis on their world. And one of the biggest ways we do that is with our Dare to Dream grants. Our Dare to Dream grant cycle just ended. And I think we've got a number of women who have applied. So the Dare to Dream committee will meet over the next month or two. And we're really hoping that everyone will come celebrate. And we'll give you all the dates and times, but we do a breakfast where we honor the women who get in, give them their grants, and really acknowledge where they're going in the world. And as we said, they are Dare to Dream grants. They are to push you towards your dreams. And, you know, so if you have a dream, if you know somebody who has a dream, we want to help support you to move on in the world. And we're really proud of that. And that's, you know, this is just our networking, and all the things we do are outcropping of doing that, connecting women. We know that, you know, we really can help each other. We can and we do. We do it with our children, we do it with our friends, we do it with our families, and this is just a way to kind of really deepen the roots in this community and move us all forward. So you can put your name and your address over there. Tina will make sure you get a weekly email. And we have on our emails, we have connections with all the other nonprofits, communities. We really encourage people to really connect with us. So hopefully it's a really nice way to kind of see what's going on. And I'm gonna give Lee over to talk about all the next things coming up, because I'm losing my voice.
Okay. Well, I'm Lee Meyer. I'm Vice President and also Program Chair of the Women's Resource Center. You are experiencing the first woman gathering that we have this year, and thanks to Eka and JoAnna for a really, really nice evening. So these run every month of the year except for November and December. So it's always the third Thursday at this time at this place. And Eka does a great job of finding interesting women and in this community to interview. And it's always a learning process and also a networking. Along with this, the Woman Gathering, we have a monthly, what we call the WIN Luncheon, which is Women in Networking. The luncheon takes place here. It is the fourth Wednesday of each month, and you just bring your lunch. Again, there's a speaker, usually somebody that's, you know, really interesting, a whole variety of women that come, and you get to meet people and network. All of these events are free, and we really appreciate your participation. So the lunch that comes for January is next Wednesday, January 24th. And there are, this little calendar is over on the desk as well, giving you all the other dates for the Woman Gathering and the luncheons. In addition, during the year we have larger events, and these are kind of our signature events. So the next one, as Barbara alluded to, will be the Dare to Dream Breakfast. That will be March 22nd. It is at the Shenandoah Valley Golf Club. 8 o'clock start, a little bit early, but it generally runs for an hour and a half to 2 hours. It is perhaps one of the most inspiring events we have. There's a committee at work now looking at applications of women who have wanted to apply for grants to achieve their dreams. They will select the ones that they think are most promising, and those women will be recognized at that breakfast. And they all get up and say something. And it is really amazing to hear some of their stories. These are not women that have had an easy time, but it's a whole variety. I mean, we have people that are 19, we've had people that are 77. So your dream can come at any time in your life. And as we said last year, there was one woman that said, I was always told throughout my life that I could not. And this is the first time that someone said, yes, you can. And that was very, very powerful. And as I say, the breakfast is great. It is a ticketed event. The tickets are $35, but it's a wonderful occasion if you can attend. And as Barbara said, if you'd like, please sign up to get our email letter, and that will keep you informed all during the year of what we have going on.
Thank you so much, Lee and Barbara.
I will add that we've been around for 22 years. We're celebrating our 20th year as a 501c3. And really, our members, that's where we get a lot of the money for our grants, is just a simple membership. You know, you don't have to come to anything. You're not required to at all. We love seeing you, but just a simple membership really moves us on our way. And that's how we've been doing this for many, many years.
Really changing women's lives.
Exactly.
Really, a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
you.
I'm so glad to be a part of it. And I'd like to thank you all for coming. It's been wonderful to have you. Thank you very much again, JoAnna. I want to thank our wonderful camera woman, Jen Avery. Yay. And Beth Waller, who had to leave a little early, for giving us this great space to meet in.
And the wine.
And the wine. We also have refreshments. So thank you all very much for coming. Thank you all for watching. Have a great month, and hopefully we'll see you next time.